measurements for progress. Now, taking measurements is super important because if you're just paying attention to the number on the scale, you're gonna be in for a long ride because the number on the scale is not gonna tell you how your body composition is changing. The scale is only measuring how hard you're being pulled down to the earth. So, today in this video, I'm gonna show you how to take measurements on your waist, your hips, your arm or your bicep, and then your thighs. So, I recommend taking measurements probably once a month if you're looking to make some significant progress. I personally don't take measurements very often because I like where I'm at and these numbers don't mean a big deal to me. So taking any type of progress is super important though because you want to make sure that you're progressing in one way or another. Alright, so I have this sewer's tape. It's super cheap. It's probably like $3 at any store. I would recommend getting one because this is the best way to make sure you're getting adequate numbers. So also it's helpful to wear the same clothes from before to after or any measurement in between because you want to make sure that you're staying as consistent as possible with the way that you're recording. One last thing is just keep using the same tape if you'd like to. I've also heard of people just using some string so they don't get caught up in the numbers because it can be really difficult if you're a numbers person and you get caught up on the numbers. So, all right, here we go. So we're going to start with the waist. Okay, so the waist is your natural waist. You'll be able to feel it. It's usually above your belly button. And you can do a measurement right across your belly button too if you'd like. If you have a lot of fat or excess skin, then your belly button may change with how it hangs. So what you're going to do is just start putting it around your back. Okay, find your natural waist. And then you're going to record the number. Now, you're not tightening it, you're not doing anything, all you're doing is relaxing, maybe keeping your core engaged just a little bit. You can come closer and see that what I'm gonna do is just put the tape there so I can see that I'm ending here. My measurement is 28, okay? Next thing you're gonna do is find your hip bones. So your hip, what you're gonna feel is, even if you have a lot of excess skin or fat, you should be able to feel your hip bones. So you can see you can hear that? That's my hip bone, okay? It's important to find your hip bone because when we measure our thighs, our hip bone is gonna give us a starting point. So your hips are not going to change. That's the nice thing about measuring your hips is that your hips are not going to change. So if you keep it consistent with your hip bones, then you'll be able to measure the same part every single time, okay? So you're gonna take the numbers, keep them upright, and go right across your skin. Now, I would recommend doing it on your bare skin, but for the purpose of this video, I'm just gonna do it right across where my clothes are. So you can come closer and see that I'm not pulling it tight, I'm not doing anything, I'm simply resting it from one bone to the other bone. And then my measurement is 31.5, okay? So now that we have our hip bone, to measure our thighs, what you're gonna do is take the midway point in between your hip bone and your kneecap. So because this tape has numbers on it, it's gonna be easy for us to just get a general recommendation because if we measure our thighs just wherever we think, it may not even be consistent from one leg to the other. So if you come here and then it starts to slide, of course the measurement's gonna get lower. So what I do is just put the beginning part of the tape on my hip bone and just let this rest to my kneecap, and this is 18 or 19. So I know that I'm gonna take half of that, so I'm gonna just go about between 9 or 10 and measure my thigh there. So if I'm holding it here, you don't have to be perfect, you could measure it if you're on your skin if you want to. I'm just gonna take it at 10, and I'll hold it here, wrap around my body, and see that my measurement is 20. Okay, now it's ideal to do the other leg as well. So start at the hip bone, come down to the kneecap, it's at 19, so I'm just taking it around 10, turn it here, wrap it around, and 19. So it's important to know that your numbers can be different from side to side. It's completely natural to have a discrepancy from one area of the body to the other side of the body because we're all asymmetrical in one way or another, okay? Next one is the bicep. This one can be the most challenging because you have to keep one arm up. When you're doing the bicep, you want to make sure that you're not flexing it to make it bigger, but you're holding your hand, your shoulders at a 90-degree angle. What I like to do is take the number 1, put it over my arm, okay? Then I take the bottom of it, and I'm going to take it up and pull this one down. Okay, so I'm taking in between my elbow and my shoulder. So I'm just going to pull this down. I can see that my number is about 11, okay? Same thing with the other side. Hold it up at 90 degrees, take the number 1, throw it over there, and then just pull it upward. So I'm gonna go right in between, halfway from my elbow to my shoulder. Okay, and I can see that it's pretty close. A little bit smaller, but not anything too big to worry about. So you want to record these numbers somewhere where you can keep track of them. Whether I like to keep them on my notes on my phone because they're always there. I will also send a screenshot of my notes to my client, so it's just always in our message history. Keep it somewhere that you can look back to, because when you feel like you're doing not so good, you can go back and look at your measurements and see that even if you haven't lost any weight, your body is still changing. After you're all done measuring all parts of your body that you want to, what you can do is take all of the numbers and add them up. This is a good way to tell overall progress when you're taking before and after measurements, because you'll see that somebody lost 13 inches or somebody lost 12 inches or whatever it may be. It's not just on one area of their body. They're taking an overall number. So that's what I recommend you doing, is taking all the same sites, so your bicep, your thigh, your hips, and your waist, add them all together and get that number. And then when you do after measurements, just record your overall inches to your past measurements, because this is going to help you recognize that you're making changes. All of us are going to lose weight, our bodies are going to change in different ways. So remember, don't ever compare anybody else to yourself. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. We're all going through different things. All you want to do is make sure that you are improving and progressing at a level and pace that's right for you. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to help you. You can join my public Facebook group called Fun and Sustainable Fitness by Marci Barker. Okay, I'll see you guys for the next video. Bye.